there, one and all. Welcome to Slapendipity Hobos of Happy Sloppy Town. I am Eric, who you may call Eric, and with me is Devon, who you may call Gibi.
I am Devon, and I'm here with Eric. Eric, can you do voices?
Sometimes.
Like not in your head, but like out loud.
Sometimes.
Have you ever thought about doing voices?
Sometimes.
Okay, can you say sometimes in a voice?
I was gonna do it in Spanish and then forgot what it is in Spanish.
That's fine.
My 8 years of Spanish are a lie.
That's funny. I was just thinking, I was having a conversation a day or two ago about my high school French experience, and how I basically don't remember anything. I think if someone was speaking French to me, I could understand a lot of it, because a lot of the vocab words are things that I could, like, I'm like, oh yeah, I do remember how to say tree, but if I'm trying to say the word tree, I'm not going to remember what it is.
Sure.
I also don't know how to conjugate anything. I don't know how to do past tense. I don't know how to do plural, any of that stuff. So like, I feel like if someone's speaking French, I can kind of understand what's being said. But yeah, that's my 4 years of French there for you. 2 in high school, 2 in college.
My Spanish, I think, is better than your French, it sounds. Because, like, I don't remember what sometimes is, but I remember always is siempre. And, like, I remember how to conjugate. And, like, stuff like that. Which I think, I never took French, but I think Spanish just has easy conjugations. Are you in the yo form? Put an O most of the time.
See, I don't even know what that means. The one thing I will say is that going from Spanish in like elementary school to French in high school, both of them have like gendered pronouns.
Yeah.
Or gendered nouns, whatever it is. And so in Spanish, I'm gonna totally mess it up. It's el and la ?
El and ella? El, ella, usted?
I don't know. How do you say the for a boy?
El or la, yes.
So el is masculine, la is feminine?
Or other way around? No. I think L is actually gender neutral. Oh, God. Oh, no. I'm a fake Spanish person.
A fake Spanish.
A fake Spanish learner.
Anyway. My point. The boy, the girl.
El niño.
L is boy, la is girl.
La niña.
And then in French, la is still girl, but boy is lay, which is L backwards.
What?
L-E-L is how you spell it in
lay.
Spanish. Lay, L-E, is how you spell it in French. And so when I was first learning French, I'm like, oh, I'm familiar with this concept of having the word the be different if you're talking about male or female. And then like, yeah, so one of them is the same. I'm like, got it. And they're like, the other one's different. I'm like, okay. And they're like, not only is it different, but it's the same word backwards. I'm like, okay, but wait, is it just spelled backwards? Or is it also referring to the other gender like it's backwards? Like, I would think that if L is masculine in Spanish, then lay, the opposite, would be feminine in French. Now, that's obviously not how it works, but that's how my brain works when I was 13 learning French for the first time. And so I just continually kept confusing lay and la.
See, but it only the spelling is opposite. That's all you have to tell your 13-year-old brain is only the spelling is opposite. Not all of it.
Yeah, they're pronounced almost like identically. Maybe if you're pronouncing them wrong, probably. Well, they're both like le. It's not lay, it's le.
Oh.
La filet, le garçon. Anyway. That's French for you. And then you could play like a little like jingle, like that's French for you. Da 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 da.
I don't have to anymore. You just did it for me.
Yeah, you can just copy that sound bite, use it other places. I give you permission. Anyway, so you can do some voices. Is that accurate?
Sometimes.
Now, not only can you do voices, which I would say is, like, back in the restaurant business, there's front of house and there's back of house,
Oh,
correct?
sure, yeah.
So I would say that voices, voice acting, that's front of house
Mm-hmm.
for the film industry.
Sure.
Whereas back of house would be things like boom operator and director and writer.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Do you also have any back of house experience?
I mean, I edit things.
You do edit things because you edit this podcast. Do you have any other back of house experience, maybe for something in a more visual medium?
No, not really. I got a graphic design thing, but we don't talk about my art.
Okay, Eric,
No.
have you ever been a cameraman before?
Oh my gosh, yeah, sure. I've
Are you
once filmed a thing or two in a very, very small context. Very
are
chill,
you just now
using people's phones and stuff.
picking up what my transition was?
Maybe.
My segue? Okay. Okay. So the story I have for this week is the adventure that me and you went on a few days ago.
Wow.
The adventure was I texted you and I said, "What are you doing?" And you said, "Having dinner and watching like a movie and like doing things with your family." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna steal you for an hour. We're gonna go out in the freezing cold. You're gonna hold a camera pointed exactly where I say, and I'm gonna be walking around with a puppet." And you just no questions. You're just like, "Okay."
Yeah. What else?
Tell the fine folks about your experience. Give it a nice review. Review your
Oh
experience as
no.
cameraman.
Okay, well I learned from last week. My review was a gosh, like four out of 5 stars, I think is the directing uh was good. I felt very safe and secure in my workspace. I think the instructions were pretty clear. Due to my own negligence, I did not bring gloves. I was like, my pockets will be fine, forgetting that I would be holding a camera. And then that's where like part of the half of the star is. That's from me. That's where
I offered you my
yeah, no,
gloves.
yeah. So if anything, I guess like 4.5 out of 5 stars. Did offer gloves.
I also,
Um,
you said, like, I felt safe and secure. The first thing that happened is I almost crashed us into another car.
well, we weren't on the job yet. We were driving to the job.
Yeah, there was a scene where you were filming me driving. That's not when it went wrong. It went wrong going 10 miles an hour down a residential street.
Yeah. Well, to be
I
fair,
thought they had a stop sign. They didn't.
it's a weird road. Um, but yeah, nothing like filming at night in the middle of winter to really make you feel something.
Or feel nothing in your fingers.
Well, that's when the tinglies come back, which is a sign you were cold, maybe. But that's okay. That's what your throat and armpits are for. Some of the warmest places on your body.
Yes. And with a baby, the top of the head, very important. Keep it warm.
You have a baby on top of your head?
No, but like if you did, you'd have to keep it warm.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you put the baby under your pits and then, like, hug it so your throat is next to it.
Got a baby on my head, under my arm, and wrapped around my neck like a scarf.
Yes.
They call
That's
me
what babies want.
the baby. Where Eric, I was trying to segue this into how we both hated the word baby as a term of endearment from last episode. I was trying real hard.
I could see it.
Couldn't get there.
Yeah.
Couldn't figure it out.
It's okay. It happens. It's
okay.
Sometimes you just have to accept what comes, and you can't pressure yourself for every little which way. You gotta
Like
feel
a baby.
it.
Okay. So I don't know if you were going somewhere with that.
Nah,
Okay.
if we need to, I can.
You said like sometimes you got to deal with like what comes in life. I'm like, yeah, like an accidental baby, and then you just kept going, and I'm like, I don't know if the metaphor works anymore.
Mm.
This is an improv show, guys. We
Hey.
trick we tricked you into watching an improv show. 49 episode. What is it? What episode number is it?
409.
49 episodes later. This actually been improv the whole time. So, so we get to the place that we're filming. We had another place in mind. It was closed because it was dark. The shot this video is now done. If you want to go over to my channel, Gibi's Horror Homestead, it's a video called I Saw the Third Stitch Wraith. It's toward the end. It's like a 2-minute video, and the parts Eric was involved in was like 30 seconds or so of it. We wanted to go to a park. I wanted it to be filmed at night. It happens to be the winter right now. We go to the park. The park is closed because it's nighttime. Uh-oh. Go to a different park. It is freezing cold. We use snowballs to like mark where we're supposed to stand.
That was my
Right?
innovation, baby.
Yes, it was. What's it called? Not a cue mark. What's it called on like a stage?
Yeah. I'm set mark, cue mark.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So the first shot was, okay, there's a hand puppet driving a car. So with no humans in frame, the puppet has to open the door and get out of the car. Now this is extremely difficult because I can't just be lying across the street with my hand up the puppet. We need to like figure something else out. So originally I wanted to, from the outside, open the door. The puppet is on a stick. It's actually on a tripod. Open the door, pick up the tripod, have the puppet walk out the front door of the car while the camera is like doing this circular loop around the front of the car. So it starts like zoomed in the passenger seat and then it curves kind of around the front. So it like kind of follows the action of the puppet. And it was cold and I didn't want to do like 4 shots of that. So we decided to just not move the camera because that is so much easier. Whoa. And then the second shot is the puppet walking across the parking lot toward the camera. And then someone dramatically steps into frame and you see that the puppet's there to meet someone. And I have a puppet. I took the hand puppet. I have 2 of them. And I made one of them into a marionette. And so the idea was I would walk next to the marionette and I would puppet it across the parking lot. And then you crop the video and you use something called a matte. And a matte is when you take a photograph of a surroundings. You take a photograph of something. Let's imagine a brick wall. Let's say that you film me walking in front of a brick wall. And then you cut the footage so that I don't have anything above my shoulders. So what you'll see is a person walking in front of a brick wall and then a big black bar on top because there's no more footage there. But if you take a photograph of that brick wall and you layer the photograph behind the video, then suddenly, now it just looks like there's a person with no head walking through the frame. So the plan was to do that. You take a matte of the background, and then you have me holding the marionette walking through the parking lot, and then you just cut me out, and it works perfectly.
Wow.
And it works perfectly, right, Eric?
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Like the lighting changing, and so the matte doesn't look right. Or the camera slightly shifting when you hit the record button, so the matte doesn't look right.
Oh.
Or me being stupid and crossing in front of and behind the puppet so that you actually can't cut me out and that it just doesn't work like that.
Oh.
So when I go to edit it, we don't have the shot. And so I had to add in camera shakes and defocusing effects. So it suddenly looks like you're filming like Bigfoot. It's like a cryptid, which is fine. It's okay. It's fine.
It's fine.
We've learned for next time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cleaner maths. So then the puppet walks across and looks at the camera, and then Eric steps into frame.
Whoa, you don't know that. It's just a shoulder.
Mm-hmm. Eric is playing the character. So within the narrative, it's not Eric. It's a character who we haven't met yet. It's just that their shoulder was played by Eric.
That shoulder? That's the money shot. I'm gonna get millions of dollars in royalties from that one shot.
Yeah, when this hits theaters.
When it hits theaters, everyone's like, whoa, that cliffhanger, the stinger. Who's that shoulder? And I'll go, Devon, you have $1 billion now. May I have some, please? And you go, I guess there's a royalty in our contract for likeness of your shoulder.
Shoulder likeness. You lean to the guy next to you, you go, that's my shoulder.
He's just like, whoa.
Anyway. It's like, whoa, man. It's a puppet. So you helped me film that. It took almost exactly 1 hour.
Yeah. Kind of crazy.
We also had shots for safety reasons. So the puppet drove a car.
Yes.
And I didn't want to be, while wearing a hand puppet, holding the steering wheel, and then like using my right hand to film the puppet holding the steering wheel, because then I have to be looking through the camera at the puppet at the street without a good grip on the wheel. Basically, I didn't want to film it myself. Dangerous.
Very dangerous.
So I had you film it.
Less dangerous.
Much less dangerous. I think that shot turned out very well.
Big safety on this podcast.
Yes. So yeah, you filmed the shots of the puppet driving, and the puppet getting out of the car, and the puppet walking across the parking lot, and then it was your shoulder.
Yeah.
Yes, and then I spent, I think, 6 hours editing those 2 minutes in one sitting.
Yeah. Gosh.
And then I sent the finished version to you and to our group chat.
Yep. Okay.
And I believe that the universal response was that was incomprehensible.
Looked good though.
It looked kind of cinematic.
Looked like a video you'd find on YouTube, even.
Ooh. A YouTube-o-matic.
Oh, I hate that.
Okay, why?
I just doesn't. It's not flattering.
Because it's like less than cinema. Is YouTube not cinema?
No, I don't know. Just like a YouTube-o-matic. Hey. I don't know. I imagine like a bro. Like a bro that got into crypto failed at it, and he's like, so my new thing is YouTube-o-matics. It's gonna be all the rage.
Oh my gosh. So I literally was having like, I got up early the morning that the video was supposed to premiere. I was so anxious. I'm like, no one's gonna like this. This is gonna be like so weird. People are watching my video for literary analysis, and I'm going to cut to this dramatic, like, weird film of a puppet driving a car.
That's what they want.
Apparently it is what they want. People responded very positively to it. They liked it, and I'm happy with the reaction. The problem now is that I'm going to have to step it up each time I do another one of these. Basically, I have to make one of these a month.
You don't have to step it up, though. You can just keep the quality level as it is and just...
Well, so keep the quality level as I intended. Because as I just said, this is below what I expected it to be because the one shot didn't work.
I mean, sure, but did it maybe not come out better?
I don't think so.
Oh.
But yeah, so I'm in preparation for doing the next two of those. I'm making it. I have to make a video backlog for when we go to Japan. So that's gonna be a whole thing. So I need to make these little short films. I need to make 4 or 5 extra videos because we're going to Japan. I'm just haven't left my computer. I don't know what the sun looks like.
It's nice.
That's been my life. Wow. You know what else is nice, Eric?
Touching grass.
Yeah. Let's all turn off this podcast, go touch some grass, all right? Thank you, people.
Put us in your pocket.
Oh, they can just take us with them.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we don't need to end the show right now, then. That's good.
Look at that. That's a nice blade of grass. You pick up that blade of grass, you wet your lips a little, you try blowing on it, you can get a whistle.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever tried to whistle with grass?
Oh, all the time.
Have you ever successfully whistled with grass?
Sometimes.
I don't know how to whistle.
Oh.
People have tried to teach me. It doesn't work.
Right. I was one of those people.
Yes, you were, and it didn't work.
Don't blame the teacher.
When I was very young, I had a blade of grass. It was very, very wide, and I was able to make a whistle sound with a wide piece of grass.
Okay.
Once, and that was it.
And did that make you feel fulfilled and you'd do it again and you'd, like, even listen to a podcast with it in your pocket as you went to practice your grass whistling?
Men only want one thing, and it's to be able to whistle with grass while listening to podcasts.
That's all we want.
Just single grass whistlers in Rome. What was that? What was the thing? Worms?
What?
Single worms in Rome?
Oh.
That was a potential t-shirt we were going to make.
That was so long ago.
It was less than a year. We haven't even hit the 1 year anniversary, although it's coming up in 3 weeks, I guess.
Whoa, what? Hey. Stop
what
that.
What is 52?
We don't know that.
52 episodes.
Oh my gosh.
What, if the world ends in the next 2 weeks?
Well, I mean, now it's not a big surprise. You know, maybe our
a surprise.
Very
People know how many weeks are in a year.
Audience was like, they haven't said anything. Are they going to do anything? And now it's all, now the jig is up. Now they do know we know.
They can just set themselves up for disappointment because we're not going to do anything.
We'll probably just get make noise with our mouths.
Yes. Woo,
it's like what we do every episode. Oh my gosh.
Victory screech. So, have you done anything nice this week? ? I guess I'm asking. I don't know when your speed date is. Have you gone on your date yet?
I have. Attentive listeners, which apparently you aren't, know that it was already happened.
When was your date?
For us right now, last night. For people listening when this comes out, a few days ago.
Okay, so it was Sunday.
Whoa.
How did it go?
It was fine. You know, normal date things. It was...
He ran away. He actually just got up. He ran away. He didn't want to tell us anything. I heard the door slamming in the background. He's not coming back.
Whoa! What are you telling to my grass whistlers? Okay.
Our little grass whistlers at home heard you get up and run away instead of telling us what happened at Barnes and Nobles.
I mean, it was. So here's one of the things: is it was fine. And I don't want to, like, say as much about it.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, you know, hey, you want to give yourself a little stress test? Try picking out a book for someone with zero knowledge impression of them that they would like. And you'll feel it.
Yeah, I think I would, just thinking about it.
So that happened. And then we did it again after, like, talking to each other and stuff, and we made more informed decisions. So that was slightly stressful, but still fun. No, and you know, just a chill, good time. I have several thoughts that maybe we can get into. But one of the things I do want to talk about the date is I got bamboozled by an old lady, so we go to eat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we sit down, we're talking, we're eating. I start going on a tirade on Meow Wolf, which I have brought up in previous episodes. It's like an art co-op, art installation, escape room-esque thing. There's only a few locations, and I have a lot of feelings about it. So I went on this just 5-minute thought, like, what do you call it? Like, conscious, the thing when you write, stream of conscious. And then I'm like, whoa, I just talked for a lot. Like, haha, what do you do? I'm sorry. And this old lady comes up to us, and she was like sitting behind us, and she was like looking at me. She was like, I just wanted to say that I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but I just couldn't help but hear you, and you just sound so nice and interesting, and I just wanted you to know that. And I said, okay, thank you. And in my mind, I'm like, how do I convey to my date that I did not pay this random lady to come up to us in the middle of our date?
That's exactly what I thought.
And I'm like, what are you doing, Granny? You're making me look weird. And
oh my god, I had to pull my microphone away from my head because I was like gasping for air. Oh my god.
And I didn't say anything about it to my date, because if I say, hey, I didn't give that lady $10 to come up to us and say how nice and interesting I am, that's immediately suspicious and like, what's going on? So
your date's gonna be like, was that your mom? Did you plant her to come over and be like, young man, you're very interesting and nice and also handsome. I wish I was as lucky as this young lady sitting across from you on this date. Because, like, I'm sorry. That just sounds fake.
It sounds so fake. And this is the only time any strangers come up to me and given me a compliment, really. Or at least in, like, a restaurant setting. And I'm just like, I don't know. And so I didn't say anything. I was like, she walked away, and I was like, I don't know what that was about. But anyway, back to our conversation, because if I addressed it, I think that would have been weirder.
Yeah. Now, I'm pretty sure most people wouldn't think that. Like, I think there's a very low chance that this girl legitimately thought that you had, like, planted this old lady. But the fact that there's an at least 1% chance would just
1%.
throw me off for the rest of the thing. I would be in my own head. I'd be like, how do I, like, right? Okay, it's like game theory,
Yeah.
like the prisoner dilemma.
Right.
It's like, okay, if she just assumes that it wasn't a plant and I don't say anything about it, then it's a win-win, right? If she assumes it was a plant and I don't address it, then that's a big lose. If she assumes it was a plant and I do address it, then that's, like, good. That's, like, the second best option. And if she doesn't assume it was a plant and I do address it, then that's awkward, and that's, like, the third best option. So you're kind of like, if I don't address it, it's either the best option or the worst option.
Mm-hmm.
If I do address it, it's one of the middle two options. So it's like, what's your gamble there? What are you looking for? Yeah, I don't know. I would definitely just be panicking for the entire rest of the thing if that was me.
Yeah, no, but that's why you gotta keep it calm, chill, and pretend to be suave, and you just roll with it and move into the next conversation piece and just pretend it didn't happen.
Oh my god.
Or very slightly address it and then move on. I don't want her to... Because it's also like... Right? Imagine it from her perspective. You're on this date with this guy, you're talking, maybe you're kind of into the stuff he's saying, you know, and, you know, it's going fine and whatever. And then this old lady comes up to him and only compliments him. And you're just sitting there, like... Even outside of the plant aspect, it's like, well, am I not interesting? Am I not a nice person? Were they not able to hear me?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, she did say she was eavesdropping, so she could have also said, right, because in that situation, right, like, I feel like an old lady would have been like, oh my gosh, and you're so pretty, or, oh, and you're so lucky to have him, right, to the girl in the
Right,
situation.
yeah.
But if she was eavesdropping, if she could hear what the girl on the date was saying, and she didn't have anything to say about like her life or her personality or her interests, then yeah, that just seems like that's a negative, right? It's not neutral to say nothing, it's negative to say nothing.
Yeah. And that's where I thought she was going. I thought she was going to be like, oh, and you, girl, are so pretty, or you something, I don't know, literally anything. And now I'm just like, is this Granny like a mama's boy? Like, does she just prefer men or something? Am I how deep is too deep for me to read into it? I think I've already hit it.
When you say old lady, I'm imagining like shuffling Granny, like, oh, young laddie, you are so nice. How old are we talking here? Like 50 or 80? Like our
60,
parents' age
70?
or our grandparents' age? Okay.
Like wasn't shuffling, but was getting there. Like her hair was white and like thinned out a bit. Kind of like seemed like she could walk fine enough and stuff, but also in a few years I could see like maybe she would need a cane or something.
Wow.
I would say like late 60s, early 70s. If I had to put money on it.
That's just incredible.
Yeah, and I couldn't make that up if I wanted to.
Okay, and it didn't come up with the rest of the, you said that you didn't bring it up. It wasn't at the end of the date, I don't want to skip too far ahead. The end of the date when you kind of have the, oh, I had a good time. And then you kind of make the decision. You have a second prisoner's dilemma where you decide if you want another date. That's kind of when you can like break the fourth wall and be like, I had a really good time with you. That old lady was kind of weird though, wasn't she? So I'm guessing that didn't happen.
No. So the what I did was when the old lady was talking to me, I was very thank you. I appreciate that, and blah blah blah. Very very kind and reciprocative. And when she turned around and walked away, I looked at my date and was just made a face like I don't know what happened. I shrug. I don't. That was weird. And then just
the the meme emoji face of like, he's doing a crazy expression and like, putting his finger in a whirl around his ear and like pointing at his forehead.
Oh,
like,
sure.
Crazy. Like, wow, that was kind of wacky, wasn't it?
Maybe that vibe, but not that. Like, the lady wasn't crazy. She was just... the situation was a little crazy.
Yeah, that was wacky.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah, that. Yeah, that's a new one. That's certainly when I say like I get in my own head in preparation for like random circumstances to happen in those kind of social settings.
You weren't thinking about
that's
that.
not new fear unlocked.
Some old lady comes up to you. Oh, you look so handsome and interesting, and you sound so nice. And well, if I was this lady over here, And then she just walks away.
This one seems like a keeper, but like, yeah, grandma energy. No, that's...
And then they're just like, I swear that wasn't me. I didn't pay her. I don't know that woman. I swear I'm normal.
That's not my grandmother. Okay. How did the rest of it go after books and after... Where'd you go for dinner? Like a restaurant?
Diner.
A diner.
We love diners on this podcast.
Yes. Did you, what was I don't know. When did you do the majority of your, like, talking? Of your, like, getting to know of, like, oh, how many siblings do you have? What's your job? Because, like, you didn't know this person's job going in, as we talked last time.
Yes.
When did that happen?
So we took 5 minutes and split up to find each other books in the Barnes and Nobles. Then, like true Barnes and Nobles people, we sat in the Starbucks cafe, talked for like an hour, then found books again for each other, this time together, and giving each other like feedback as we were trying to find the second book. Then we went to the diner and just talked more.
Okay, and how did those go?
It was fine.
You learned a lot about her during these
conversation parts? I did, yeah.
Like vibes and technical information? Or I should say factual information?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you got to say your bit? Like there's no stone left unturned from a first date perspective?
I think so.
Right.
I've never thought about it like that.
Okay. Is there going to be a second date?
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
That's not something you established at the end of the first date?
Okay, so here's one of the things that we can talk about.
Oh, okay.
We did not bring it up at the end of the first date. And I heard a piece of information from a friend that was like, generally for dating, right? If you go on a first date and it ends, and you don't end it with, like, let's make plans for the second date, or at least if you don't bring that up, it's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. That, like, in order to ensure a second date, it needs to be brought up on the first date in some capacity.
I would concur.
And that didn't happen. However, we did text each other, and we're like, hello. So, shrug.
I feel,
yes.
and this always comes back to, I don't know how you feel about this. I'm just going to speak for myself, but I think that the era that you and I grew up in, we were made very aware that women view all men as predators and that we're evil. At least that's what I was told. So from my perspective, if I'm on a date with someone and I would like a second date, I'm almost like not allowed to be the one to bring it up. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like if I say, yo, I feel like this was great, let's go on a second date, and she's not feeling that way, then she might feel pressured to say yes in the moment because she's scared of me. And then she'll have to like text later and be like, actually, I never want to see you again. Mm-hmm. And so that's more uncomfortable for her. And so you let her make the first move. Mm-hmm. And the problem is that that's not how it works at all in reality. But I was told that that's how it works. So I'm always in my head about like, how do I be normal? So I feel like at the end of the first date, you can say, sorry, like, you know, you seem nice, but sorry. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure how I would handle it. Because again, it kind of goes back to the prisoner's dilemma. Best case scenario, you both want to have a second date. So you have to say, yes, let's go on a second date. And then hope that they do. Worst case scenario, you do and they don't. So it's like, okay, do you go with the gamble where you say that you do, which could lead to the best outcome or the worst outcome? Or do you go with the not gamble, which is you just kind of assume that over the course of texting, you can set up a second one? Okay, so what are your thoughts on whatever I just said?
I mean, so the asking, in terms of prisoner dilemma, right? I think that, like, right, if you ask them out and they're like, no, then it's, like, a little embarrassing and the rejection and the whatever. But then you just never see them again. And you're like, okay, bye. I wasn't thinking that deep about it at the time. I was just like, just saying bye to a person. I don't know. Sometimes because I like to wing things, right? Fly by the seat of my pants, etc. I don't go in with like a mindset of like, oh, I'm on a date and I'm going to say these things and this stuff is going to happen and blah, blah, blah. So when it gets to the end of the date, I'm just like, oh yeah, I had a nice time. It was cool talking to you and hanging out and okay, goodbye. And my brain just doesn't go, wait, you gotta, if you want a second date, you gotta say something.
Yes, you do.
So, shrug. I mean, also, if, like, she doesn't want a second date, you either find it out from the lack of text messages or from the upfront rejection. Either way, you'll, like, get your answer, so.
I think that there's, and it's not all women, but there's a lot of women who would kind of expect the man to say, hey, we should have a second date. Or since it wasn't brought up at all, she might be in her head and be like, oh, he wasn't interested, otherwise he would have said something. So, like, you end up in a situation where you both want one, but you both think the ball's in the other person's court.
Sure.
And that's unfortunate.
Sure. I mean, well, I mean, I'll keep you posted, I guess, along with the fellow grass whistlers. I guess they get to know now. But I did text, and you can make fun of me for that. Of, like, you know, she sent me a text of, like, hey, have a great time, blah 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 blah, and I was like, same Z's. Second date? Question mark. I phrased it a little better than that.
I was gonna say.
But you get to keep updated. You don't get to know the exact phrasing of my text messages.
That's fine. That's fine. I would never ask.
So we'll see. Shrug.
That's awesome. Wow. So Eric went on a date. Gibi played with puppets. That's the title of the episode.
Wow. Hey, but you know, you play puppets with people too. And
with you,
with me even, and like,
but you have to be paid to be there.
Well, you know, I do have an hourly rate, and you know.
Mm-hmm. Did you pay for the books / dinner / coffee?
More or less. I paid for everything except we each, so we paid for each other's books. So the books I picked out for her, I paid for. The books she picked out for me, she paid for. And then otherwise, yeah, I paid for everything. The coffee, the dinner.
Yeah.
Which I just don't have feelings about, really. I think...
I was just curious.
Sure. I would do a 50-50 thing, but I don't even do that with friends, because it's just so much of a hassle. They could just Venmo me.
Or it's like, I pay this time, you pay next time.
Yeah. And so, going in with, like, that, like, if I go on a second date, right, with this woman, like, I don't know her feelings about it, but, like, she can just pay for the next one.
Yeah, maybe. Was this someone that you had... What were your hopes going in?
Have fun. Have a good time.
Did you have fun and a good time?
Yeah.
Okay. Good to hear it.
Yeah. One of the...
Did you...
Yeah. Oh, no, please.
No, I was going to change the subject.
Oh. Well, so she is... Now, whether if my, you know... Devon.
Yes.
How do you feel about zodiac signs?
All right, this has been a good episode.
All right, everyone.
Okay. I mean, we've kind of talked about this before when we were talking about what was it, tarot cards?
Sure.
Where I don't believe in any of it,
right?
Especially zodiac signs. I think it's complete nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
There was a girl that we went to high school with in our grade, and me and her had the same birthday, and the idea that, like, oh, that means that we have similar attributes. It's like, no, actually, not really at all. So zodiacs are complete nonsense. At the very least, when it comes to tarot cards, you can argue... Remember that episode of Futurama where Bender meets God?
Right. Who doesn't?
And the moral... It's one of my favorite episodes. And the moral, you know, God's talking to Bender, and he's like, if you do too much for people, then they rely on you. And if you do nothing for people, then they stop believing in you, and they just, like, you know, only believe in themselves. And so the best thing you can do is you do things that will make people question if you've done anything at all,
Mm.
right? You do just enough. And so the thing with tarot cards that interests me is, I think I talked about this, where there's like, because cards can be upside down or right side up, there's like 200 possible combinations. And so I asked a question of the tarot deck, and I flipped over a card that gave a very specific answer, and then we shuffled the deck, and then I asked the same question, and I flipped over the same card.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, that's a whatever 200 times 200 chance is. So, like, do I believe that tarot decks are magic? No. Do I believe in little magic, which is what you call it, where, like, maybe this is the time when the universe or God or whatever was speaking through something, and now I have to wonder if it means anything at all? Yes. So that makes sense to me.
Mm.
Um, yeah, Zodiacs, no. Very, very silly, actually.
Understandable. Have a nice
Very,
day.
very anti-Zodiac.
Okay, now I'm not saying I believe in zodiacs, but it is, right, if you say anything vague enough, it can apply to any and all humans.
Yes.
We are the same sign, though. Just because we were like, oh, when's your birthday? Oh, when's my birthday? Blah, blah, blah. And hers is in that same time frame. And I was just like, haha, what a funny coincidence. And then I just noticed a few traits, which, again, any human can have. But I was just like, now I think about it a little, it's a little bit like hanging out with me.
Oh.
Which I don't know what to... And it's not like, the Zodiac just opened my, like, helped me realize, like, oh yeah, this person's pretty similar. Wait a minute.
Oh my god, she's such a Magikarp.
Wow. Such a Magikarp?
I was gonna say Taurus, because, like, that's both a Zodiac and a Pokemon, but then I'm like, that might imply that you were born in whatever month that is. I don't even know what month that is. So I just made it a different Pokemon. Okay, we're just improving here.
Yeah. So it was...
I think that's like March. I don't know.
I wanted to say March. It might be April. I don't know, man.
I don't know. I know my sign. I am a
That's
Capricorn.
the only one that matters, is your sign. But no, it was just kind of weird to be like, oh. Would you date yourself?
No. I'd strangle them.
Oh. That's intense.
I feel like it's not... Okay, so obviously, like, oh my god, opposites attract. Okay, it's fine. But I think you need to find not your opposite, but your complement.
Sure.
Right? So I think that, no, I would not date myself. Get you a left-handed girl, okay?
Okay, what?
Because when you're walking somewhere holding hands, if you hold with your left hand and she holds with her right hand, then both of your dominant hands are free. Oh my gosh. When I dated a right-handed girl, one of us was always inconvenienced. And there were literally times when we'd be walking and she'd be like, okay, change sides, I need to, like, use my hand to, like, text something. And I'd be like, okay. And then so now I'm using my right hand to hold hers. But oh my god, if you have different dominant hands, you can just hold hands and, like, have your dominant hand free when you're walking down the street.
Okay, but now, do you know about all these, like, dating tests and bullshit?
I so don't know that I don't even know what you're referring to.
Fabulous. One of them is that the man has to walk on the side of the road, because if a danger happens, it's most likely to come from the road, as opposed to, like, her next to a building. So to do that, you would have to be on the left side, holding her left hand with your right hand. And so that way you can protect her from whatever evil dangers that the road offers.
I think the evil dangers would be more likely to come from the dark alley on the
you would fail the test.
That's where the Joker's gonna come out of and, like, shoot my wife or whatever.
You mean Joe Chill?
Unless it's 1989 Batman movie, in which case it is the Joker. Eric, get your lore straight.
The Joker is a fake fan and didn't know Bruce Wayne.
Yes, I watched that movie for the first time recently. Very interesting. I like the sets.
Hmm.
What are we talking about?
I don't know.
Zodiac signs. Did the girl say that she's into zodiacs?
No, not
Oh,
really.
okay. I thought when you breached this topic, I thought you were going to be like, Devon, what's your opinion on zodiacs? Because this girl was obsessed with them, and she gave me a palm reading at the thing, and I don't know if that's a red flag or not.
Well,
So I'm very glad that this didn't go there.
yeah, it did not go there.
Hmm?
I don't think she even said anything about it. She was just like, "Ah, this is my
Good.
birthday," and my brain was like, "Zodiac
Oh no,
bullshit."
you're the zodiac girl in this relationship.
I am not. It's just a fun thing. Your brain just makes a connection. What? What?
Oh my gosh. What body of water is she?
She's golf.
The Gulf of America?
No, just a golf.
Okay.
Any golf, because her logic was it's like a hot water, like temperate type of water, but also a hurricane happens every once in a while, which is props for honesty.
That's also just a very well thought out metaphor that I'm sure, like, in the context of speed dating, in case for whatever reason someone didn't watch our previous episode, Eric asks people what kind of body of water they are. And to very quickly be able to come up with that to describe yourself, I think is a very good skill.
She did not quickly come up with the answer. She did come
Never
up
mind.
with it, though.
Okay.
She was struggling, and I was like, do you want me to go first? And she said, yes, please. And I did. And then she was like, one of the interesting things that I have seen multiple people do when I ask this question is they panic / don't know what a body of water is, possibly from the panic. But so many people are just like, I don't know, ocean, the sea, and like that's just the bodies of water. And I'm like, well, yeah, but you also have a lake, a brook, a well, a fjord, a channel, a puddle, a gulf. And then that their like brain, I think, fully understands the question and is like, ah.
I am a log flume.
What's that?
Like a log flume, like a water roller coaster.
Oh, that's not a body of...
And a well is? And a puddle is? A rain puddle on the sidewalk is? No, I'm a log flume.
All right, and why?
I didn't get that far.
Interesting.
I was trying to be quirky.
Oh.
See, I feel like that's what I would do. If someone asked me that at the speed dating, I'd say that. And they'd say why, and then I wouldn't have an answer.
You'd be like, because I'm like a ride that you want to enjoy.
Let's not.
Emotionally, spiritually, mentally. And then you just stop there, and she's like, what about physically? And you're like, no, not physically.
Oh my god. Yeah, you get really wet at the end. So I was thinking more like if you had to be, I don't know, I think like what kind of bird are you is a slightly more reasonable question to ask someone.
No, but
because then
everyone
you
would
could go
just
color,
pick their
you could go
favorite
size.
bird.
But you can go color, you can go size, you can go like where they live. You know?
Nah, listen.
Like, there's a lot more attributes. We anthropomorphize birds more than we do bodies of water.
Well, and that's why the bodies of water question is a bit more interesting. I think people are just going to pick their favorite bird. I love crows. What do I want to be? A crow. Boom. Why? Because they're smart and cool and confident and they like to dance. I'm going to pick a robin? Get out of here. Robins are whatever.
Okay, the Joker.
That's right. A woodpecker? Maybe. Woodpeckers are cool. A hummingbird with those heart problems? No, thank you. Come on.
A peacock?
A peacock. You want to be a peacock?
They got big feathers.
I mean,
I don't know. Puffins? You a puffin man?
I could vibe with a puffin.
I like puffins. I like their beaks. They're like the penguins, but it's not cold.
Oh, I could be a penguin if it wasn't so dangerous.
Yeah, they get eaten by like seals and sharks or whatever. Polar bears.
Polar bear.
Yeah.
Everything eats them, basically.
I said sharks, I meant orcas. Yeah. They do collect pebbles, though, which I think is cool.
They collect pebbles, mate for life.
Yeah, I think puffins are better penguins.
Puffins are better penguins. Is that your final answer? That's what you would be, a puffin?
Yes, because a puffin's a better penguin.
I see.
See, there's some people who have emailed me before, like on my YouTube channel, because if you go to the contact me section, you can send in like questions and business inquiries to my official email account.
Right.
And my official email account is Puffin Devon.
Okay.
That's not why it's Puffin Devon. It is not because puffins are my favorite birds, but that's okay.
Okay.
Like, would you? What kind of body water are you again? You
Lake.
said lake. Would you make a lakeeric@gmail.com?
I guess if I was bored.
Okay. I meant, would you ever have that be your business email? The answer is probably
no. Not as a business email.
No. Okay. Puffin Devon is my business email because my first YouTube channel was Puffin Muffler.
Whoa. That's crazy. Are there any... Uh-huh.
No, I was going to say this conversation's kind of petered out.
Is that a bird?
It could be a bird. It's going to be a bird if you'd played along, you know.
What do you mean if I played along? I did play along.
It is improv. You're supposed to yes and.
Oh.
Say Peter Bird. I already know her.
Well, I was gonna see if our lovely grass whistlers wanted to had any mail they sent in, and maybe that if, they had a bird, they would be.
Yeah, if you guys want to tell us what kind of birds and or bodies of water you are, slapendipity@gmail.com.
And why.
Slapendipity. And why. Slapendipity, it's all one letters.
Word.
It's one word. I don't know how to explain this. There's no double letters in Slapendipity, because you might think that there are, but it's not. SLAPENDIPITY.
At Gmail.
Slapendipity. At Gmail. I think I spelled that right. I'm bad at spelling. I'm also bad at math.
That's okay.
I'm just kind of a mess fam, like a log flume.
Log fumes have to be very well maintained and clean.
Yeah, but they're also a bit of a mess.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. You're not familiar with... I said log flume. You didn't even know what that was. I had to tell you what a log flume was.
Because that's not... No one's like, crap. Those rides at theme parks, they're like water roller coaster. No one calls them a log fume.
They are a log flume. What if someone said, I'm a slip and slide?
What an answer. I would need to hear the why.
In this case, they just say it. You don't get a follow-up question.
Dang.
The bell rings. You don't get to hear.
I would think about that.
You'd remember that girl.
I remember the Hot Springs girl.
Mm-hmm.
Good answer.
What about Sprinkler?
I see. We're getting too man-made.
You said well was an acceptable answer.
But a well is at least a body of water. Like, it can be, that can also there can be naturally occurring wells.
What about a hot tub?
I mean, I would say that's just a hot spring. That's just a domesticated hot spring.
What about a leaky faucet?
That's not a body of water. Come on, now. Just because water's going through it doesn't make it a body of water. I was entertaining the slip and slide, but I draw the line at a faucet.
If you're talking to a girl on this speed date, and you say, "What kind of body of water are you? What kind of water are you?" and she goes, I think me and my friends are all kinky hoes. What would your response to that be?
I would pinch the bridge of my nose, like I'm doing right now. Give a little bit of sigh and go, that's funny. And
what if she has what if she has no idea that it's a double entendre? She literally just means like, we're like a hose, like water goes through us, but then sometimes it gets kinked and it gets stopped for a while, but then it keeps going.
I mean, then yeah, I'd be like, wow, what
Yeah.
an apt description of life.
Yeah, it's a metaphor for life being difficult sometimes, but you gotta push through it.
Yeah.
Being a kinky hose.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Please tell me we have letters.
Oh. Let's see if we have letters. Let's open up the letter machine. I got logged out of all my Gmail accounts.
Oh no!
So I gotta check that. While I'm checking,
what do you mean? The mailbox is right over there. And by the way, the furnishings the raccoons have done. What's a smart mailbox? Excuse me.
You have to type in your Gmail password to get in.
Oh my gosh! Get out of here! See,
it's the future.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, the furnishings the raccoons have put up has been very lovely. They've decorated the mailbox a little bit. They put their they got like little concrete type things or like a putty, put their paws in it and put it all over the mailbox. So it, it's like a raccoon mailbox now. There's little like, little decoration swirly doos in the grass next to the mailbox. No gnomes. We're trying to separate them from that stereotype. And
it's a very pro gnome family. We will not tolerate gnome face.
Yeah. And
we have no letters.
Hey, that's great. That's fine. The dragon's back on her business, and you gotta respect the hustle. She wants her paper whore, then she's gonna get it.
Yes, the dragon at our local post office here in Happy Slappy Town hoards letters and packages, which is why you gotta kind of overwhelm her sometimes if you actually want your mail to go through.
Yeah. I just said that as if that was normal, and I didn't think about people that would just be tuning in.
You didn't think about people who didn't listen to episode 12 when we established that lore?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a famous Stan Lee quote, every comic book is someone's first. And so there's a famous Gibi quote, which is every episode of Slapendipity Hobos of Happy Slappy Town is worthless and no one should listen to it.
Whoa.
The end. All right, do you have any last words to say, Eric?
Gorge. That's it.
You're being goofy, a little goofy?
A little goofy.
Okay, so I'm glad that you finally broke out one of the voices you can do.
Yeah, I figured that would be...
We went full circle.
Yeah.
Full circle this episode. All right. Thank you for listening to episode 49. Gibi plays with puppets and Eric goes on a date.
Bye.
Bye.